works with a vision and mission and a rock solid conviction, with a continuous pursuit of excellence in bringing in name and fame by providing a conducive climate for learning and working, thereby delivering successful results year after year. Ma'am is also the director of the YCMOU Center, Adarsh Shikshan Prasarak Mandir. Talking about the degrees, ma'am has done her MA in Sociology and has done her Marathi.
Kamre ma'am, Dean of Interdisciplinary Studies, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad, and Honorable Dr. Avinash Kendre sir, Head of the Department, Economics, Pragati College of Arts and Commerce, Dombivli, for accepting the invitation to conduct online session for this seminar. Advisory Committee. I also express my special thanks to Honorable Professor Siddiqui sir for accepting invitation as a guest for valedictory celebration. I express my gratitude toward our source of motivation and encouragement. September 1941 in Vizbute family in a small village, Masti. During his period, there was no effective school in the village. He enrolled his name in Jila Parishad school. He had a strong desire to take higher education. Due to financial difficulties, he could take education only up to SSC LTC. This was often pinning him that in spite of having capacity or caliber, he is deprived of higher education, which is fact of fundamental right of every citizen in India. He thought and determined to do something in education field and contribute to the community by opening school and colleges in rural areas. He established Adarsh Shikshan Prasaran Mandal and started free school with just two students. This was his first step to achieve his goal and later opened various schools and colleges in rural areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us a detailed information about the institute and also enlightening us about the program. The success of any educational institution depends on the strong foundation laid by its founder. With a fierce will and persistent effort to build a strong team that follows our step to new heights of success. I consider it to be a great honor to have with us our guest of honor, Honorable Chairman, His Excellency Sir, the chairperson of Adarsh Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, a Kalpavriksha having 50 branches all over Maharashtra state. His motto is Yashwant Va Jaivan Va, which means take education and grow and make your life successful. Talking about the college, Sri Babu Sahib Didi Vispute College of Education is recognized through its regional committee Bhopal and is affiliated to University of Mumbai by a National Council for Teachers of Education. Our college strives to work towards the goal of preparation of effective second challenges of contemporary Indian society, talking about the designation. their busy schedule to be with us and share their understanding and insights about this webinar. I request our next speaker guest, Honorable Professor Rajneesh Shukla sir, the Vice Chancellor Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Hindi Vishwavidyalaya, Wardha, Maharashtra. Honorable Professor Rajneesh Kumar Shukla sir is presently working as a member secretary of Indian Council of Indira Gandhi National Center of Art, New Delhi. Talking about the degree, Sir has completed his graduation and post graduation degree from MGKVP, Varanasi, and PhD in philosophy from BHU. Professor Rajneesh Shukla sir has written 7 books and more than 100 research papers articles are published in different journal country and abroad. Sir has served his university as registrar, executive council member and director, college development council and in other several positions. Professor Rajneesh Kumar Shukla sir has a credit to produce a program for graduate level named Rashtra Gaurava, a mandatory program at UG degree at all state universities of UP. He has edited and written a book, Rashtra Gaurava, which is published by several universities, namely Lucknow University. Sir has been chief editor of Dashanika Traimasika, a quarterly journal of Akhila Bhartiya Darshana Parishad, for 5 years and joint secretary of ABDP. Sir writes articles and columns in several newspapers like Dainik Jagran, Amar Ujala, Navbharat Times, and Rashtriya Sahara on culture, religion, and education. It is also notable that Sir is a member of Committee for Establishment of First State University of Sikkim and Secretary of Acharya Abhinav Gupta Millennium Year Celebration Committee. Requesting Sir to please address about this webinar.
Hello, Shukla sir.
Now I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Honorable Sri Dhanaraj Bispute sir, the chairman others group of institutions. Adaraniya Sunita Magreji, Honorable Dr. Ganesh Hegde, though he is not visible, but I believe he is with us. Dr. Seema Kamble, principal of the college. The teachers, academicians, researchers were participating in the seminar. As Honorable Chairman sir said, this seminar is organized at very juncture of transition in education. The new education policy, National Education Policy 2020, is a historical leap towards reformation, transformation, and grassroots level change in education for Shrestha Bharat. The question of quality is a very ambiguous question. Which education is qualitative education? This is a very interesting and very favorite topic of discussion for the educationists. Which is quality of education for Ghana and Namibia, maybe the quality of education for USA and Canada. Which type of education is the quality of education for South Korea? Is that education is the quality of education for North Korea also? It means education is not such type of activity or process which could be separated from the cultural and social milieus of a particular nation or society. For last 185 years, we are importing education where the universalization and separation from the social cultural milieus was the basic tenet. The very first time in the history of India, or we can say after 185 years of the Macaulay education minutes, a policy of education is introduced, which is a policy for Bharat, a policy for our nation, a policy for our people, a policy to curb the issues, drastic issues before our nation, education for all, education of the quality education, inclusion of all, excellence for all, and dignified opportunities free from all type of exploitation. This is first time when this nation has shown the commitment to bridge the several type of gaps: social gap, economical gap, and geographical gap is also. This is the first time when quality in research and education is redefined. The objective of education is defined. Education should be socially relevant and nationally important. The education which is irrelevant for society is not education at all. And education which was not creating a human being who is committed for the betterment of this nation is not education at all. This is the first time when an education policy is introduced which gives equal emphasis on individual to universal. A same framework of education for local need and international needs. This is the first time when we are borrowing all good and beautiful practices, policies, methods which are prevailing in different part of the globe, but all are groomed with potential of this soil. And the potential of this soil is our cultural ethos. First time, our great cultural ethos is taken care in education policy from KG to PG. This is the first time when we recognized the power of our multilinguality. Our bahubhasikta is our strength, not the weakness. Multilingual nation is a powerful nation, not a weak nation. This is the basic change. The quality of education is not quality in infrastructures only. The quality should be taken care in content, process, methods, pedagogy, and in infrastructure also. For last 70 years, we are trying to improve our quality through creating infrastructure. This is the first time when a policy accepted education is not a service. Education is not a just human activity, but it's a process of mind making. This education policy equally gives emphasis on skill and knowledge. Both Sodh and Kaushal. Knowledge, research, and skill. Usually in Indian tradition, this is known as Vidya and Avidya. Vidya means knowledge and Avidya means skill. Only knowledge without skill, skill causes suffering. Skill, apart from the knowledge, causes same suffering. The balance between Vidya and Avidya, knowledge and skill, causes happiness. And very first time in history, we are realizing this, and not only realizing this, but trying to visualize this realization. First time our education policy introduced where emphasis, a great emphasis on research has been given by the policymakers. Research incentive universities, intense universities for research. It's a knife way to assure qualitative, fruitful, and applicable research in universities. But what is the? These all are the policies. Only and only केवल और केवल ये होगा कब? When the teaching community of this nation is ready to implicate this. Because we are not so fortunate who has taken their education, who was educated and brought and developed their ideas in such type of educational atmosphere. So we have to change our mind. We teachers should accept the challenges of the contemporary time. Only every time referring term of reference to the European nations in the education, science, technology, medical, agriculture cannot solve the problems of our people, of our surrounding and our nation. You imagine we have a good number of IITs, NITs, and other technological institutes, but a single ball pen is not invented by these IITs. In our daily life, we are using so many tools and practices, but not a single tool, single equipment, single gadget is developed in these IITs, these NITs. In this era of COVID pandemic, we are waiting vaccines from the Oxford University lab. No one is talking about our university labs. This is the lack of the imaginative creative imagination. A creative imagination is lacking everywhere in education, whether that is science, technology, humanities, social sciences. We are copying, borrowing, imitating, and by this process, we try to establish quality in education. This time is gone. Now, this is time of new India. We teachers have to accept education is a process of man making. We are not the service provider, and our students and tots are not the consumers. So only quality is not the issue, but quality with purpose is the issue for education. A purposeful education can create creative imagination in young generation, and only creative imagination can create a resource intense mind. The basic responsibility of the universities to create research intense mind. The basic responsibility of the colleges to create a young generation who is full of the creative imagination and eager and ready to face the challenges of our time with their endeavor. This is the basic questions which we have to accept and resolve. A good policy is not enough, but implication of a policy is rather more important thing. Another thing, this is time when government cannot do everything. The link between society and educational institutions is also a demand to maintain the quality, to understand the need of society, and to develop, build up, and gear up an educational institution. These, if we are thinking on these issues, we are taking care on these issues, then we can assure the quality for the nation, quality for our society, quality for our social milieux, cultural milieux, and quality for this globe also. Though quality is not an such objective ideas, but quality have a cultural mooring. Quality have a historical ethos. These all should be considered, whether that is humanities, social sciences, or science, technology, and even legal education. Everywhere, these things matters. I hope in this 2-day seminar, in quest of quality in education and research, the academicians, teachers, researchers will discuss on these issues with these few words. I'm extending my thanks to all, especially to Professor Sunita Magre, who compelled me to join here. She is like my younger sister, and I can't avoid her, not request, but rather order of a younger sister, so that I am here. And thanks to Honorable Dhanrajji, who has really, he has given us the viewpoint from where we have to start our thought process for the quality in education and research. Again, thanks to all.
Nice, Saji. Thanks. Very nice.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a valuable and informative thought related to quality of education you have conveyed to us. Thank you once again, sir, for your time, for giving such deep, valuable insights. Thanks a lot, sir. It is said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So, moving ahead with the next and most important segment of our webinar, we begin with the first session on the topic online A&A methodology in revised accreditation framework. And so, for this, I would request Ms. Sharvari ma'am to introduce to our eminent speaker for today, Honorable Dr. Vinayak Deshpande sir, the ex-Pro Vice Chancellor of RTM Nagpur University, Nagpur, who will guide us with this session. Over to you, Sharvari ma'am.
Thank you, Ranita ma'am. It's a great honor for me to introduce you to one of the eminent guests amidst us who has immense knowledge in academics and administration. Our today's guest of honor is Honorable Dr. Vinayak Deshpande sir, Professor, Department of Business Management, RTMNU Nagpur. He has also worked as Vice Chancellor of RTM Nagpur University. Honorable Deshpande sir is a gold medalist. He is a member of Regional Imbalance Committee, Maharashtra State, appointed by the Planning Board of Maharashtra, popularly known as Kelkar Committee. He is also member of Regional Direct Tax Advisory Committee. Dr. Deshpande has earlier held various positions in academic administration. He was the Pro Vice Chancellor, Director, Department of Business Management, and Assistant Director, Academic Staff College, RTM Nagpur since 35 years. He has written reference books on macroeconomic analysis, Indian economy, and financial institutions and markets. He was associated with IGIDR for a project on suicides of farmer and submitted a report on resource mapping to the Maharashtra Economic Development Corporation. 31 candidates have been awarded PhD under his supervision. Dr. Deshpande was selected under the Rotary International Exchange Program to Netherlands. He coordinated an international conference at Sydney, Australia. He has completed a course on intermediate macroeconomics from London School of Economics. He has conducted major and minor research projects sponsored by NABARD, Government of Maharashtra, UGC, etc. Dr. Deshpande has published many books, research articles in various reputed journals and monographs. He has been associated with various universities as a resource person, PhD examiner, and Board of Studies member. With this brief introduction, I request Honorable Dr. Vinayak Deshpande sir to enlighten us with his thoughts. Honorable Dr. Vinayak Deshpande sir.
Thank you so much, madam, for this generous introduction. Thank you very much. Shri Bapu Sahib DD Vispute College of Education is organizing NAAC sponsored today online national seminar on emerging trends in educational and research quality. I congratulate the college authority for taking this initiative, and I really feel delighted to be associated with this particular seminar. Principal Madam Dr. Seema Kamre, Chairman Adarsh Group of Institute Shri Dhanrajji Vispute, keynote speaker to whom we just listened, Dr. Vice Chancellor Professor Rajneesh Shuklaji, and my friend Dr. Avinash Shendre. I am very happy to share some of my thoughts relating to the changes which have occurred in the NAAC procedure. And we all are aware that from time to time, NAAC is bringing changes in its format and many a times we are not aware about what changes are taking place. So I feel this seminar would be of great help for all the education institutes who are already accredited and going to be accredited in near future. Friends, we are all in higher education sector, and higher education is very close to our hearts. So whenever we get an opportunity like this, we feel like sharing some ideas, and that is the chance given by this institute through my friend Avinash, and therefore I am here today. I am thankful to the organizers for this. Friends, just now Honorable Vice Chancellor talked about the importance of higher education, quality, and the changes which are taking place through this new education policy which is recently announced. And therefore, this NAAC accreditation and other formalities which are to be completed, I feel we must also take into consideration the changes which are going to happen in our education sector through national education policy. It is not just the reform in the national education, but I feel it is the total transformation of education system if this national education policy is implemented in that real sense. And therefore, when we consider the changes which are taking place, particularly the use of ICT in submitting the report, I'm happy that organizer has given me this topic to share with you, that what changes are likely to take place. So I would like to show you some of my PPTs, and with the help of that, I hope you would be able to understand certain major changes which are going to take place, and probably it would be useful for all of us. Friends, when we talk about the changes in the national uh, assessment framework, there are certain basic things which needs to be seen. And as I said, that there is a widespread concern on the quality and relevance of higher education, and therefore NAAC is making quality assurance as an integral part of the functioning of higher education institutions. And therefore, they are revising their assessment and accreditation framework from time to time. The last revision, which was launched in July 2017, that basically represents an explicit paradigm shift that is making it ICT enabled. It is becoming more and more objective. They are trying to bring transparency, scalable and robust. And the criteria based assessment forms, that is the backbone, I would say, of A&A process of NAAC. And some of you must be aware that there are 7 criteria represent the core functions and activities of higher education institutes. And along with that, the emerging issues, they have also been incorporated in the whole process. And therefore, it has its own importance. So when we talk about A&A methodology in the revised assessment framework, the main focus of this revision process is obviously to enhance the redeeming features of the accreditation. And as I said, the objective is to make it more robust, objective, transparent, and scalable also. NAAC is trying to reduce the duration of accreditation process, and therefore, this particular revision has brought mainly the changes in terms of the online processing of the forms and the other kinds of reports which we submit. Along with that, the whole process is in tune with local regional and global changes which are taking place in the higher education scenario. So there were suggestions that many a times whatever the inputs which we provide, they may not be relevant to our local conditions. And therefore it is realized that whatever the activities we perform in our education institutes, how far it is going to be benefited, the local people, local industries, and therefore that component is also included. So to develop assessment and accreditation framework, technology enabled and user friendly. So there is a software developed by NAAC. So once you start providing the inputs in the form of quantitative numbers, you get certain results automatically. I would show with some examples later on. So to enhance the accountability of the accrediting agency, and as the institutions are applying for this accreditation process, we can get ourselves where we stand. And therefore, when we talk about NAAC, actually we are trying to find out what can be done in order to improve our own education system. So it is third-party audit of quality of services which we are offering and the kind of practices which we are following in our educations. So basically we have to consider it as an opportunity that we can introspect, we can identify our strength, we can identify our weaknesses, opportunities, and that is how we can think about developing it further. There is a possibility of identifying certain internal areas where we can plan, where we can allocate our resources. And whatever the services we are offering to the society, how it can be made as much as possible reliable. And that reliability also needs to be enhanced. We have to bring some sensitization of institutions towards safeguarding interest of stakeholders. So students, how far they are getting benefit. And as we have just found out that education is not just training head, but we want holistic education where head needs to be educated, where hand needs to be educated, and heart is also needs to be educated. And that is how we can think about the holistic development of the students, where they are not only trained in terms of thinking, but whatever the things they are learning, how they are using it in practice, that becomes more relevant. And therefore, skill development, practical relevance, then the outcome, program outcome of the courses which we are running, that I think is very relevant and important. Let us try to understand that what is the unique feature of this new revised accreditation framework. They are trying to bring objectivity in the whole assessment system. And therefore, we have to remember that 70% is quantitative and 30% is qualitative. Like when NAAC peer visit, when they come to our institute, their assessment is to the extent of 30%, but whatever the information which we are going to provide, that assessment would be made on that basis of information. And therefore, NAAC is trying to bring paperless procedure. NAAC never asks for any document in hard copy. Of course, we have to provide some kind of evidences, some kind of supportive documents, but they are all to be submitted online. So there is user-friendly web portal and manuals, and NAAC provides all possible support in the form of user-friendly manual. So web portal for submission of SSR, AQAR is all user-friendly. And mainly, it is trust-based governance, that whatever the information institutes will be provided, they will be provided authenticated information with responsibility. That is what NAAC believes. But at the same time, we have to be very careful in terms of documentation. And that documentation plays very important role in the whole assessment process. So majority assessment is done without physical verification at the institute. NAAC would believe that whatever the document along with proof you are submitting, they have a trust on you, and therefore this mechanism got evolved over a period of time, and it's a mechanism constantly under review and being updated regularly. And therefore this has helped us in order to keep our records update continuously, and that is how we can have the documentation. So this online A&A process starts from the registration of the institution, then submission and approval of your institutional information, and then you can start preparing your document in order to submit your SSR. Then peer team visit, then data verification and validation. So whatever the data you are submitting, that is to be validated by some authority where you are providing some kind of proof in order to show the activities which you have conducted. And student satisfaction survey, that is the most important aspect which I would talk about this in detail. So what students feel about our institute, how far they are satisfied with our faculty members, what changes are required to be brought in the teaching technique, all these things we can get on the basis of the opinions which students would be expressing from time to time. And then of course peer team visit, that is the broad online accreditation and assessment process which we have to consider. Now when we start preparing for accreditation, the first and the foremost important thing is that there has to be website of the institution which is dynamic. Dynamic in a sense that whenever certain changes take place, they are to be incorporated immediately in your website. In many cases, we have observed that institutes do not make changes from time to time, and that creates problem. And therefore, if principal is changed, if some faculty members are inducted, recruited, their names should appear immediately in the website of the institute, and therefore it is expected that every institute will have a dynamic website, and many of the documents are to be submitted with the help of the website of the institute. We also need energetic, enthusiastic team of techno-savvy teachers as well as administrative staff. Many times we feel that IQAC director is alone responsible for conducting all these activities. Now in the change framework, you can't hand over everything to this poor fellow who is IQAC director, and it becomes difficult for him to manage each and everything. Therefore, every teacher, administrative staff, they must cooperate with IQAC director. And there has to be clarity about the objectives of assessment, clear understanding of the assessment manual which is available, and clear understanding of the data which is required. And whatever the data we would be submitting, we need supporting documents also. And therefore, to some extent, NAAC has helped to bring discipline in the institutes where we can keep records now on a regular basis. And if we keep that record on a regular basis, there will not be any difficulty at all when the final report we have to prepare and submit. So online self-study report, that is SSR, where we have to submit profile of the institution, that is general information relating to the institute when it is established, how this institute is making progress in terms of number of students, in terms of number of teachers, and of course in the current year, what institute has done, how it has contributed for the development of the society, how it is helping industries, how it is helping local people, there we can provide the information relating to the institution. In extended profile, we can add number of courses offered. It can be the short-time courses also. Number of students enrolled, number of students sanctioned and field post, number of classrooms, computers, that is relating to the infrastructure facilities available in the institution. And as we all know, that this information is to be provided for last 5 years. Now, when we consider the quality of the education, NAAC is quite aware about the fact that it's not just the number which matters, but along with that, they require some subjective judgment also. And that subjective criteria along with quantitative criteria is also included in the assessment process. So there is quantitative metrics and qualitative metrics along with 7 criteria. And the objectively, NAAC is going to assess that how you are providing this information, and that information which you will be providing for every data, quantitative data, there has to be some evidences also. So let us try to find out about the quantitative metrics. So higher education institution is expected to fill the quantitative data for these metrics. And there are number of 7 criteria. Again, for 7 criteria, there are some subsections. Broadly, I will try to provide you the information relating to this. So the data is required to be submitted in the prescribed template, and that templates, they are provided on the NAAC website. And if you start filling up those templates, that data would automatically be generated for the individual institutes. So download the template and fill the accurate data. Get ready with the documentary evidences in support of the data provided. Unless you submit some kind of evidences in support of whatever the information you are providing, your document will not be considered as the complete document. So whatever the information you provide, either there has to be some kind of information relating to the decision taken by the management, or if it is relating to students' activities, how IQAC took a decision to organize these activities. Like this, minutes of the meeting for every IQAC meetings, they are to be kept, and get the documents scanned in PDF format, not exceeding the file size of 5 MB. That is very categorically pointed out by NAAC. So in case the file size is too large, then you can upload the data on institute's website. And that is how that website is important, as I said earlier. And link for the same to be provided along with template. That is how you can submit the information online. Let us see one example. Suppose we want to provide the information relating to how many teachers are working in our institute. So we have to provide the information relating to the average percentage of full-time teachers against sanctioned post. And this is the template. So for this, data is to be provided in Excel sheet. Number of actual full-time teachers during last 5 years, and this is extended profile you can submit. Number of actual teachers as on date, and number of sanctioned posts during last 5 years. This is the information which you will be providing with some quantitative numbers. Along with that, you have to provide the documents. So as I said, that this information will be supplemented by some evidence. So there could be government resolutions and relevant document supporting number of sanctioned posts. So that data will be available with the authorities. So GR and relevant documents you can support in order to show how the government, if it is government sanctioned post, then you can provide that information. Along with that, you can provide appointment letters, approval letters of recruited full-time teachers in order to show that whatever the information you are providing, it's a factual information. After providing this information, NAAC portal will automatically generate the percentage of full-time teachers. That is already there in the software. So, the kind of information which is necessary to be provided in the template is relating to the number of teachers, number of sanctioned posts. Rest of the things will be undertaken by NAAC portal. Percentage per year will be calculated automatically by considering number of full-time teachers divided by number of sanctioned posts multiplied by 100. That will automatically be generated along with average percentage, that is summation of percentage per year divided by 5 will automatically give you the information about average percentage of full-time teachers against sanctioned posts. And that becomes one of the important measure to accredit the institute, that how many posts are lying vacant, how many posts are sanctioned, and of course, in certain cases, as we are experiencing in Maharashtra, that government is not allowing to fill up the post. That information also can be provided by the institute, that what difficulties are cropping up, especially when government is not allowing you to fill up the post. So that later also can be provided along with this particular information. And that is how this would complete that particular template. So when we talk about qualitative metrics, this will need a descriptive note from the institute about certain aspects for which institution is trying to project itself. For example, teachers use ICT enabled tools, including effective teaching, learning process, online kind of activities which they are performing. For that, you can prepare a note describing this in not more than 500 words in a separate Word document. This becomes the qualitative information. Same needs to be copied and posted in the prescribed text box provided on the web portal. Once you get registered and once you get the link, this information would automatically come. So upload the scanned documents, PDF, or paste web link in support of the claim. So whatever the claims we are making relating to the good practices which we are following in the institute, that you can provide with the help of the documents which you would be preparing. So what are the points which needs to be remembered for every institute? Since the assessment is being done without physical verification, we have to keep it in mind that whatever the data we are going to provide, it must have accuracy. Try to keep the aim that there has to be 100% accuracy. If it is teachers related data, try to procure all supporting document. So authenticity of supporting document also needs to be checked. Generally, AQAR is to be submitted on 30th June, but of course, because of this pandemic, this date is extended for many institutes now, and this AQAR is to be uploaded on website of the college. My request would be that whatever the meetings you conduct, IQAC meetings, minutes of these IQAC meetings are to be uploaded for every academic year. That within a particular year, whatever the meetings you have conducted for IQAC, whatever the decisions you have taken, because that becomes the proof to show that how the students' activities are conducted. Like suppose college decides to conduct some social activities, cultural programs for the students, let that decision be taken by IQAC. It is expected that IQAC will provide the information relating to the activities which would be conducted by the institute. And therefore, information relating to all activities, they must be routed through IQAC. And therefore, those meetings minutes are relevant and important. So for 5 years, whatever the meetings are conducted by IQAC, you will have complete data set relating to the activities which you have planned, activities which you have actually completed, and actually whatever the activities you have planned, you may not be able to complete it. That information also you can keep it ready. Of course, along with that, information relating to each and every student needs to be kept. And this is, I think, very cumbersome because it becomes difficult to collect the information of each and every student. NAAC is expecting that once student make entry in your college, till he leaves college, after that where he is placed, what kind of activities he is performing, that information also should be kept now by the institute. It is not just the number of students admitted in your college, but after admission, how these students are deriving the benefits of the activities which college has conducted, how the college has helped them to do certain economical activities, that also college must have information relating to that. And therefore, you will get the template where it is mentioned that information relating to each and every student from entry to his placement. Of course, for this, alumni association needs to be made very, very strong. And once you get the alumni association, number of activities relating to the students, relating to the placement, that information can be kept by the president and the authorities of alumni association also. So AQAR, IIQA and SSR, these are the fundamental documents which are to be submitted by the institute. As I said, information relating to AQAR to be collected for 5 years because the NAAC accreditation is valid for 5 years. Once the 5 years are over, you have to re-accredit it. And therefore, it's a continuous process. In the 5th year, IIQA is to be sent before 6 months of the completion of the period of NAAC accreditation. As far as possible, of course, in many cases, NAAC has provided the extension for the submission of the report also. But let us be careful that before 6 months, we should start preparing ourselves for NAAC accreditation. And before sending IIQA, SSR should more or less also be completed. Why I'm saying so? Because once your IIQA is submitted, it takes 1 month to get the approval and window of NAAC gets open for 45 days to complete SSR. So probably this period of time may not be adequate enough to complete all the formalities, and therefore we can start once IIQA is submitted. And then window of NAAC, once it is open, you can complete the formalities of submitting SSR. Higher education institutes, if they have a record of at least 2 batches of students graduated or been in existence for 6 years, whichever is earlier, are eligible to apply for the process of A&A of NAAC. So colleges just got established may not get chance to get accredited unless they have a record of last 2 batches of students. If you have last 2 batches of students or existence for more than 6 years of the institute, then you are eligible to go for NAAC accreditation. Let us consider the assessment process. The process will be carried out in 3 stages. So main component is of course self-study report, student satisfaction survey and peer team report. Peer team report is important because as I said 30% weightage is still given to the peer team. SSR has 2 kinds of metrics, one requiring quantification of the information which you are providing in terms of figures, and second is relating to the metrics requiring description, that is what you call as qualitative information. So SSR has to be uploaded as per the format in portal of NAAC. After submission of SSR on NAAC portal, higher education institutes will receive an auto-generated link, that is ID of SSR in the registered email ID, and the same SSR in PDF format needs to be uploaded now on institutional website. And therefore, as I said in the beginning, that we have to be very careful as far as the developing website is concerned, because lot many things later on will be related with the NAAC, and therefore that information is to be uploaded in our website also. Let us try to understand the key indicators which are mentioned and distribution of metrics and key indicators across criteria. Let me tell you one thing, that these key indicators and the kind of information which is to be provided, metrics broadly we can say the number of questions. These number of questions vary. If there is universities accreditation, it would be different from affiliated colleges accreditation. Again, in affiliated colleges, there would be undergraduate college or postgraduate college. There is a slight difference for the submission of the documents. So you have type of higher education institutes which can be considered as universities, autonomous colleges, or affiliated institutes with universities where you are running UG program and PG program. So criteria, as I said, 7 criteria which we are going to see in detail shortly. These 7 criteria are common for all kinds of institutes. So we have to provide information relating to these 7 criteria. This information is to be provided by the universities, autonomous colleges, and affiliated colleges also. Key indicators which we are going to see: for universities, there are 34. For autonomous colleges, there are 34. For UG affiliated college, 31. And for PG, there are 32. Qualitative metrics, that is questions relating to qualitative, 35 and 36. Colleges running PG and universities more or less same. Quantitative metrics, 79 for universities, these are the number of questions. 72 for autonomous colleges, 58 for UG, and 60 for PG. So total questions relating to qualitative and quantitative, for universities there are 115, for autonomous colleges there are 107 questions, for UG there are 93, and for PG there are 96. So we have to keep it in mind that whatever the information and the questions which are to be answered for submission of the reports, they are, if we have UG college, they are to the extent of 93. Now, how these 7 criteria are considered, and that is the basis for assessment of higher education institutes. One is about the curricular aspects, which probably everybody is aware about it. Under that, you have curriculum design and development. Now, this curriculum design and development, it is expected to be done by the universities, and therefore this particular aspect of curriculum designing is left to the universities. Second is curriculum planning and implementation. This is for affiliated colleges. And remember one thing, that the weightage given to this criteria is 20. Why I am putting these numbers? Because you can think about that on the basis of the numbers, how seriously you have to collect the documents, and how seriously you can provide the information, that you can decide on the basis of these numbers also. So curriculum planning and implementation, when we talk about, whatever the curriculum is provided by the universities, colleges are supposed to operationalize this curriculum. So how they are operationalizing it, and you can provide that information, that how you have planned to complete the curriculum, what is your academic calendar, how you are going to implement it, and of course, how you have tried to make it practical as much as possible that information you can provide, and for that 20 marks you will be getting. Along with that, it is expected that there should be academic flexibility. How serious you must be, like this weightage is 30. Academic flexibility, we mean how much freedom you are giving for the time frame of the courses. It is expected that there can be interdisciplinary options, or you can have credit systems, choice offered in the curriculum. That kind of flexibility and the decisions are left to the individual institutes, that how you can run the courses, how you can implement the curriculum. For that, 30 marks are allotted. And then the curriculum enrichment, where our Honorable Vice Chancellor was talking about holistic development of students, and that is the main purpose of curriculum. So it is not just theoretical knowledge which we are providing, but how you can provide practical knowledge also along with theory, value addition, courses for the students relating to environments and sustainability, human values, all these kinds of courses which you are conducting. Keep the information relating to this, provide the relevant document, you will be getting 30 marks for this curriculum enrichment by the college. Feedback system is equally important. For that, 20 marks are allotted, and there how far you have succeeded in fulfilling the needs of the society, what college conducted different kinds of activities for the development of the society, for the benefits of the society, economy in general, like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, how colleges have contributed in that, and then you can get feedback from stakeholders. Stakeholders, we mean not only students, there can be feedback from the parents. Keep that information. Keep the files relating to feedback from the society, from the industrialists, and that will give you 20 marks if you have proper feedback system. The second criteria is teaching, learning, and evaluation. And there the first one is student enrollment and profile. So efficiency of the techniques used in order to have the continuous evaluation and the performance of teachers and students both, they are evaluated under this criteria. So what is the process of admitting your students? What norms you are following? Is there any specific rules and regulations provided by the government? How far you have followed those guidelines? For that you can provide the information. And process of admitting students, where it is expected that you must have representation of students community from different geographical areas, and you can keep the record from where students are coming to your college. If they are coming from outside state, that would be beneficial to get the higher grade in NAAC. Then socio-economic culture, how you are providing benefit to the students, those who are from the lower strata. Try to provide the information relating to that. Educational background, whether they are first generation learning, second generation learning, try to give the information relating to that, and that would be reflected in the student's profile, and that information you can keep it in order to provide. Then catering to student diversity. So how far you have succeeded in satisfying the needs of the students from diverse background, including backward community, that you can project, and for that 50 marks are allotted. So if you have proper information relating to that, you would get that many marks in the process of accreditation. Teaching learning process, it is expected that you must have learning management system. How you have developed the teaching learning process, make it official, make it authentic, and try to give some kind of information which looks reliable, and that information is relating to the system which you have developed. Make it formalized. Many a times what happened, informally we undertake some processes. NAAC is expecting that don't keep anything informal. Make it formal. Provide some information, provide some data, and that is how teaching learning process you would get 50. Teachers profile and quality 60 marks are allotted, and therefore it is expected that qualification of teachers, how the recruitment procedure is followed by the institute, how many faculties are available, and recognition of teaching abilities. If they are getting some awards, if they are publishing some papers, if they are getting some projects, try to provide the information relating to that. And that is how you can prepare teacher profile and quality. For that, 60 marks are allotted. Evaluation process and reforms, their assessment of teaching learning, try to find out that how the system can be made effective and efficient, and transparency in the system. NAAC is expecting that everything is transparent. Every stakeholder is aware about the fact that what is going on in the institute, and therefore it is expected that there will be the process which would be clear, which can be evaluated, and from time to time, if you are bringing any changes, bring it there on the paper. Student performance and learning outcomes, for that 60 marks are allotted. So what a student should be capable of doing on after completing successfully a particular course or program, that is expected in the student performance and student satisfaction survey. You can get the feedback from the students, and their feedback showcases the actual quality of teaching learning process. So you can identify the strength of the teaching as well as possible improvements in the teachers. I am well aware about the fact that this is quite difficult, and many a times many problems are cropping up because of the student satisfaction survey. But try to make it as objective as possible. You can develop ways in finding out the student satisfaction survey, and therefore NAAC is believing that this is the direct indicator of the effectiveness of teaching and learning process of the institutes, and therefore they are relying now more on the student satisfaction survey, and for that quite a good number of marks are allotted for this particular criteria. Research, innovation and extension, promotion of research and facilities, this is for universities. So this criteria is not applicable for the affiliated colleges. But resource mobilization for research is applicable for affiliated colleges. For that, 15 marks are allotted. And it is expected that some kind of research culture institute is trying to develop in order to serve the community. Certain researches they are doing, like in social sciences also, students are learning the society's levels of income, their social background, and that kind of research if you promote, that would help to create research culture, and for that also 15 marks are allotted. Then innovation, of course, resource mobilization for research, and then innovation ecosystem, where nowadays we talk about incubation center. Then for entrepreneurship development, if you are providing some training, entrepreneurship training, that would help to get the accreditation, but of course for that 10 marks are allotted. Or you can organize workshop, seminar on intellectual property rights, that is IPR, and then of course industry, institute kind of innovative practices, and how far institute is connected with the industry, that would carry weightage in the whole process. If you have research publications and awards, for UG 15 marks, for PG 25, and that publications you can have the record. Along with that, for university consultancy is given 20 marks. It is not applicable for the affiliated colleges, but collaboration is applicable for the colleges, and in that, even in the new education policy, it is clearly stated that those colleges having good infrastructure facilities, if they are sharing these facilities with other colleges, it is appreciable, and therefore if you have such kinds of arrangement, then there could be student exchange, faculty exchange, research equipments if you have, and if those research equipments you are sharing, for that also certain marks are allotted. I will go fast because I'm aware about the time allotted to me. So criteria and weightage across another criteria, that is infrastructure and learning resources, about physical facilities, library, IT infrastructure. It is expected that whatever infrastructure you have developed, whether you are utilizing it up to the fullest possible extent or not, that also is equally important. If it is underutilized, then it becomes a problem, and therefore NAAC is emphasizing on how you are maintaining the created infrastructure facilities. Student support and progression, what kind of support you are giving to the student in terms of maybe for guiding students for employment, guidance cell, placement cell, or grievance redressal cell. In our university, we have recently developed welfare measures that if students, if they have some problem, medical health problem, then institutes, if they are providing some help, that also carries some weightage, and colleges can think about developing that kind of welfare measures also. How students are making progress in his life, and if you have data relating to this, that would also carry 30 marks. Students participation and activities, if they are participating at the state level, national level, international level, that you can keep the record of that. For UG, more weightage is given. For PG it is 45, for UG it is 50. And how your alumni, past students, how they are engaging in the routine college activities, how they are helping colleges by providing some kind of equipment, by sponsoring some kind of programs, and if alumni association is doing that, that is welcome by the NAAC. Governance, leadership and management, what is the vision of the institute, what kind of leadership is provided by the management, for that 10 marks are given. Strategy development and deployment, it is believed that now we are operating in the competitive environment, so every institute will have some strategy to go ahead. So is there any specific plan by the institute? Faculty empowerment strategies 30, where you can provide some facilities to the faculties in order to participate in international conferences, national conferences, so that they will be empowered and they would improve their quality. For that also some marks are allotted. The another important thing which I would talk about, there are institutes which are following certain best practices, and they are unique practices. I visited one of the colleges in Assam under NAAC, and these Assam colleges, they are having lot many snakes. So what this college has developed, college zoology department, they are catching the snakes and they are trying to make experiments on snakes. And that is how they have developed the laboratory for the research on snakes. And this is how is the best practice which was considered by that college. Try to identify that what kind of distinctiveness we can show and how we are pursuing this activity further. It can be the activity of different nature, but if you are following it and doing it continuously, then that would be appreciable by the NAAC. Total score is 1000, and on the basis of that, you will get the accreditation. Of course, this data which you are providing, there is DVV, data validation and verification. So NAAC has some DVV partners to validate and verify the information which you have submitted. So DVV partner will match the claims made by the institute and the documents provided in support of the claim. In case of any discrepancy, they will bring out to the notice and you can modify that. So after successful completion, NAAC will provide verified SSR to take the process. So NAAC asks each applicant institute to submit the details of the students. So you have to keep record of their phone numbers, email IDs of the enrolled student, and this data has to be submitted to the specific template provided by NAAC without any discrepancy, because NAAC later on, they take the sample surveys of the student and they ask the information regarding the institutes directly to the student. So on successful completion of DBV, NAAC will initiate a student satisfaction survey on their own through Google Forms by contacting sample students. So institute is required to inform its students well in advance. So you can bring your students and you can inform them that such and such surveys would be conducted, and you can make them aware in advance, and that surveys will be conducted directly by NAAC without informing the college. Last one is of course peer team visit, and this is the only offline aspect of A&A process. Peer team will visit the institute to verify, and whatever the claims you have made, they will try to find out. Of course, you have submitted the supportive document, but now there is a physical verification by peer team. And last point is system generated scores with combination of online evaluation is 70% and peer judgment is 30%. And therefore, this 70%, for that total 1000 marks are allotted, and 7 criteria, they are obviously important. I'm thankful to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to share some of my views. Of course, it's a very vast kind of topic, but I tried to provide some basic information for the benefit of the college. I'll be happy to answer your question if you have any. Thank you so much. Thank you, and wish you all the best for this 2-day national seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful and informative session on assessment and accreditation in revised assessment framework of NAAC. We are very grateful for the information which you have provided. Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead in the session, it is my privilege to introduce you to one of our eminent guests who is always working for welfare of students. She is none other than our Honorable Dr. Sunita Magre ma'am, IC Director, Thane Subcampus of Mumbai University. Dr. Magre ma'am has imparted her contribution in the field of education since last 25 years. She has been worked as a guide for B.Ed, M.Ed, M.Phil and PhD students as well. Dr. Magre ma'am was keenly involved in the UGC's major research projects. Ma'am has written many research papers. To be specific, she has written 56 research papers. Management techniques for imparting quality of research education, new methodology, and NAAC souvenir, the role of IQAC in re-accreditation are some of those. Ma'am has organized and participated in many seminars, conferences, and workshops. Workshop on research methodology and statistical aspect of research held at Aurangabad, national level workshop on the role of IQAC in re-accreditation held at Dhule are few of those. She has worked as guide for teachers' eligibility test. Her contribution to self-learning material is huge. Ma'am has worked as an editor, course writer, translator, and resource person, and as a course coordinator too. It's our great pleasure to have such a versatile personality amongst us. I request Honorable Dr. Sunita Magre ma'am to enlighten us with her thoughts. Honorable Dr. Sunita Magre ma'am.
हॅलो.
हा मॅडम, आवाज येतोय मॅडम?
मला स्क्रीन शेअर करायला दिले?
हो हो मॅडम, हो.
ठीक. एक मिनिट. दिसते सगळ्यांना?
हो मॅम, दिसतीये मॅडम, स्क्रीन दिसतीये.
Yeah. Oh. So thank you very much for inviting me in this 2-day online national seminar sponsored by NAAC. The topic of the national seminar is Emerging Trends in Educational and the Research Quality. It is organized by the IQAC cell, Adarsh Shikshan Prasarak Mandals, Shri Bapu Sahib D.D. Vispute College of Education in collaboration with the NAAC. Now, for this seminar, Principal Dr. Seema Kamble gave me the topic, the recent trends in the qualitative research. Now, in that topic, the recent trends in qualitative research, I make a research, whatever it is, the qualitative or the quantitative, but I have made a little change, that is the recent trends, research trends in the new normal, whether it is qualitative or whether it is quantitative. So in the new normal period and this pandemic situation, what are the new researches we have to find out? We have to study on that new researches. So what are that topics? So let us clarify the theme or what is mean by the new normal. What is mean by new normal? New normal means what? When you go through the newspaper, various articles related to this pandemic situation, COVID-19, various research papers on the COVID-19. So in that research papers, you found the new theme, that is the new normal. It is not the new, but it is old, but it is the new normal, means every time it is a new. So that's why it is a new normal. So what is new normal? The first for this term, new normal, it is used in or appeared in the 2008 at the time of financial crisis to refer to the dramatic economic, cultural, and the social transformation that caused precarious and social unrest impacting collective perception and the individual lifestyles. Means what is your individual lifestyles during the financial crisis, during some cultural crisis, during some social changes. So that time we use the term new normal. So it is starting with the 2008. Now, at present situation, the same term, that is a new normal, it is used in the COVID-19 pandemic. Why it is used? To point out how it is completely invested and transformed, undebatable pivots of the human life, such as our professional identity, our economic conditions, our work culture, our family culture, various organization work culture, our children educations, various management. So how the radical revision of the traditional ways, practices, and the various skills, you have to use various skills, various new practices due to this pandemic situation, and how you have to manage, or we have to manage things. So that's why this term is used, new normal. Now, in the new normal situation, here I mentioned the one of the aim of the research topics. It is not the aim of my research or any other studies, but it is a holistic approach of the aim of research at the present situation, COVID-19. When you go through the studies or this situation, present situation, various environment, behavior of the people, various policy. So I think, this is my observation, number of the people don't know what are their rights, what are their duties, what are their responsibilities towards the nation, towards the society, towards the family also. Many of the people, they are only working for the betterment of the family, but only earning of the money is not the betterment of family. When you only earn the money, but you didn't utilize the time with your family member, then what are the use of your earnings? What are the use of your earnings? Secondly, many of the peoples don't know what are the rights, and the Indian Constitution have provide the various rights to each and every citizen. But we don't know what are our constitutional rights. And I studied and I observed the questions which was or which is in the present situation, arise in the present situation. So you will getting the answer of that question in your constitution only. Because the Indian Constitution is the biggest, largest world constitution. And every solution, every problem of the solution is given in our constitution. So that's why I feel that's why I make to protect, to aware, to protect, to promote the constitutional rights of every Indian, at least to equality. Now, in this pandemic, every person have the experience about the behavior, about the equality. So that's why I wrote to aware, to protect, to promote the constitutional rights of every Indian to equality. And our second national aim is to provide and to promote the basic education, at least basic education. When we discuss about the globalization, in the era of globalization, or we compare our education to the Europe countries' education, so this is the situation. In our country, number of the states and number of the villages in that state, number of the districts, they didn't provide the basic education of our children. So that's why I mentioned these two aim of the research topics. It is not the aim of research, it is the research topics. So first is to aware, to protect, and to promote the constitutional rights of every Indian to equality. And second one, to protect and promote and fulfill at least basic education. So what is basic education? You know the definition of basic education. We all of know the definition of basic education. So we cannot go in detail about what is basic education. So our main theme of today's my lecture topic is what are the new normal research themes, or what are the topics you have to study in the new normal through the qualitative as well as the quantitative methods. So here I mentioned some of the themes. There are a lot of themes, but I club it in 6 main areas. So my that 6 main areas are: first, the teaching and learning. It is one of the themes. Second, the constitutional rights. Third theme is the disaster management. Fourth is the gender and school. Fifth is the inclusive education. And last, is the governance. I make these main themes for doing the research, and you can take any one of the themes, because when you take one of the theme, so in one of the theme, suppose you are taking teaching and learning, and the teaching and learning, when you take, so under the teaching and learning there are the various sub themes. So which sub themes you want to take, so you have to study it. So first let's take the first theme, that is the teaching and the learning. We all are the teacher educators, researcher, and we know about the teaching learning process. Now, I categorize teaching and learning, this theme, I categorize 6 sub-themes. What are that 6 sub-themes? Under teaching and learning, teacher is one of the sub-theme, learner is another sub-theme, curriculum, instruction, evaluation, and the learning outcomes. So I mentioned 6 sub-themes under the main theme of teaching and learning. Now, under these sub-themes, suppose we take the teacher. Teacher is our main sub-theme. Main theme is teaching and learning. Now, first sub-theme is the teacher. Under the teacher, there are the various aspects. So, which aspect you want to study? So, here I mentioned only 3. There are a lot of aspects. So, here I mentioned 3 sub-aspects, or the 3 aspects under the umbrella of teacher. Now, the first and very, very important, that is the quality of teaching. So, teacher is related to the teaching, but what is the quality of teaching of that teacher? Second is teaching strategies. And third is the learner evaluation. Now, under the teacher, so quality of teaching. So, under the quality of teaching, the quality of teaching is related to the various levels. When the teacher is a primary teacher, or a secondary teacher, or higher secondary teacher, or degree college teacher, or university teacher, or the global teacher. So you think on what type of the teacher you want to select it. There are the various types: primary, secondary, higher secondary, university teacher, college teacher, and the global teacher also. So under the quality of teaching, suppose you have to take a primary teacher, because the quality of teaching is starting from the base. So the quality of teaching, when you give the good quality at the primary level, so definitely you will get the good output at the higher education. Definitely you make a scientist at the higher education. Definitely you make the various engineers at the higher education. Definitely you make the good teachers at the higher education. But it starts from the primary level. So what is the quality of teaching? This is a very big question. Quality of teaching. Quality of teaching means, I think, when your language, your examples, your narration, your explanation about the content which is relevant to the time, we can say that the quality of teaching. Definitely, you can use the various teaching aids. It is not necessary to use a technology. When you use the technology, means you have the quality of teaching. No, never. Whatever the situation, according to the situation, you have to teach in every situation, and you have to connect. Your heart is connect to your student heart. So that is the quality of teaching. Now we'll turn to the next topic, that is the teaching strategies. Now the teacher use various teaching strategies. So what are the teaching strategies? You are going to the class and start your lecture. So this is one of the strategies. Some of the teachers going to the class, open the book, read the books and start the teaching. Some of the teacher going to the class, then using a big educational aids, various technology. That is one of the teaching strategies. In some of the school, having the whiteboard, having the overhead projector, having the fixation of the PCs, everything is there. A fully furnished classroom, fully technological classroom. We can say that this is the virtual classroom, and start the teaching. It is one of the strategies. But this teaching strategy, when it is effective, when your student involved in your teaching process. So without involving the students, your teaching strategy is not effective. So you can use number of the teaching strategies, but involvement of your student is very important. Now, come to the next point, that is the learner evaluation. What is learner evaluation? How will you evaluate your learner? As per your subject. So I am a teacher, I am going to the class, teach my topic. I am a science teacher, I am a mathematics teacher, I am a language teacher. So according to that, suppose you have to teach one of the poem, student understood very well, and you take one of the assignment. Then you have to evaluate. Those students are giving the answer of all the questions. So he is a good student according to that teacher. But according to me, my experience didn't allow that student is a very good student. Learner evaluation means how the student involved to that major theme, you have to distribute the students in a group and give the presentation. Second thing, how many words, difficult words, and what is the meaning of that words. And the student use that word in a different way, in a local language. So that time it is the evaluation. Only giving and taking the examination and declaring the result, it is not the learner evaluation. Then very important in the language, the grammatical mistake. Now in the present situation, in technological situation, thank you, they write TY. Good morning, GM. So this is not the language. This is not the language. So student know the perfect spelling, know the perfect pronunciation. So this is about the learner evaluation about the language. When it is related to the science, take it to the various projects, involve the student.
हो मॅडम आवाज येत नाही. हॅलो हॅलो मॅडम हॅलो हॅलो
दिसते का सीमा?
हा मॅडम हा मॅडम कोणीतरी स्क्रीन शेअरिंग सुरू केलं. एक मिनिट मॅडम, मी त्यांची महेंद्र कांबळे सरांनी स्क्रीन शेअरिंग केले. मी त्यांची हे काढते म्हणजे तुम्हाला शेअरिंग करता येईल. हा मॅडम
झालं?
ओके मॅडम, हा काढली त्यांची स्क्रीन शेअरिंग.
Learner have its unique style. Means in the learners you have to study the developmental and behavioral effect of the teaching learning process to the learner. That's why I mentioned the learning style, child behavior, and the medium of instruction. So in the learning style, so which learning style is preferred by the learner? There are the various learning styles. So he prefer autocratic learning style, democratic learning style. In democratic, there is the group discussion, presentation. So these are the learning styles. So which learning style prefer the learners? So according to their learning style, teacher should cooperate with the learner and give the preference to the learner. Now the child behavior. So what factors affect the learning behaviors of the learner? That is the child behavior. So in that child behavior, you can study the various topic under the some of the external and internal environment, teaching strategies, multiple intelligence. So these are the topic which is taken by the researchers, or you can take as the researchers and do the research work on that topic. And in this pandemic situation, so child behavior, it is a very old topic, but at the time of this pandemic, or at the present pandemic situation, the child behavior is totally changed. So why it is changed? What are the causes of changing the behavior? Which program is required for their behavior? Which program is required for their personality development? Which factors is affect on their behavior? So you can study this kind of the topics for your research work. and very important topic, that is the medium of instruction. Now in India, there are a lot of states and every state have its own language. That's why the medium of instruction is very, very important. In Maharashtra, various medium of instruction. English medium is a common medium. Some schools are Hindi medium, some schools on Urdu medium, some schools in Marathi medium. So which medium of instruction students were preferred? So because the medium of instruction is very powerful, powerful strategy to collect the information. When you want the perfect information, when you collect the data in a very relevant manner, so that time medium of instruction is very, very playing a very, very important role. That's why I have suggested these three topics for the learners. Now let's go to the third theme, third sub-theme, that is the curriculum. Now in the curriculum, in teaching learning process, curriculum is the main source. So in curriculum, it is the integration. When you studied the new educational policy 2020 upcoming policy, now in that policy, so integrated courses have the much more importance. Integration, collaboration. So these are the very important part. Then thinking skills. Here it is higher order thinking, whatever it is, but at least thinking skills and the collaborative learning. So these three part is very, very important in the curriculum. For example, I arise one question. So how is the curriculum able to contribute achieving learning outcomes? Suppose this is the one of the question. How is the curriculum able to contribute achieving learning outcomes? So for this type of the research question, I think my answer is the thinking skills or higher order thing or various skills, thinking skills. So in that, so your thinking skill, so which kind of the thinking skill you have to study? One of the part on that skill and start your study. Then integration. Various courses are integrated. That's why in the new University Act, it is the interdisciplinary study. Why interdisciplinary study? The various subjects are interrelated to each other. So that is the interdisciplinary study. Now in that curriculum, my second question is, how is the curriculum responsive or relevant to the learner? How is the curriculum is responsive and relevant to the learner? When the curriculum is the localized curriculum, you have to study the geographical area of your curriculum. The same syllabus you cannot finalize for each and every state. Some of the people says ki all over Maharashtra same syllabus, but can we provide the same facility for our student? And we provide the same facility, so that time it is easy. But when we do not provide the facility, so that time it is very difficult. And in the curriculum also, the language is very, very important. Be thinking when my child is going to the abroad or he wanted to go to the study in Europe, so that's why English is required. And we take the admission, our children's admission in the English medium school. And the result is He did not understand English, he did not understand Marathi, and he did not understand local language. So the language is very, very important. Now let's come to the next slide. That is the instruction. One of the theme, that is the instruction. Now under the instruction, again 3 sub-themes. I have mentioned 3 sub-themes. That is the classroom size, learning material, and the learning resources. Now under the theme instruction, so which are the strategies to enhance the teaching and learning process? Why I'm thinking about the classroom size? See, this pandemic situation, our school structure is 50 students or 100 students in one class. Now at present, is it possible to teach the student? It's not possible. That's why you think on the classroom size. Then the learning material. Which learning material? Whatever the learning material you have to provide. So according to your classroom size, you should provide the learning material and the learning resources. Suppose we are on online teaching, the learning resources. Those who are not attend that time of the class, so should we provide the video clip? If we provide the video clip, have the student access of that net? How our government provide the internet facility to each and every student, to each and every teacher? So this is about the instruction. Then evaluation. When you evaluate your students, your teaching learning practices, so that time good practices. Which good practices are required? Don't blame me. We are not getting this facility, we are not getting that facility. But you should start as a thinker, as a social thinkers. You can start the thinking on your good practices. Which good practices are relevant for my student? So use that practices. Good practices means those practice give the good outputs, good learning outcomes. That is known as the good practices. Then types of assessment. So which type of assessment? The summative, formative, or the holistic type of assessment, or the continuous, comprehensive, continuous type of the assessment. And for that, in the evaluation part, the training is must for the evaluation of our system, of our students, of our educational system. So when you train, or we provide the training facility to our teacher how to evaluate it. Take the suggestion from your teacher and do the group work and provide the training. According to me, I have suggested every schools have their own training module, because every school environment, school management, school facilities, physical structure are different. So according to that, you should provide the training. Then learning outcomes. Now in the learning outcomes, which topics are relevant to your research work? First one is the learning environment. Which learning environment you have to provide, or your management, your institute, which learning environment they are providing to us. Say, according to that learning environment, we have to study on that part. Then policy implications. Which policy? How to implement that policy? Suppose we are previous our policy, national 1986 education policy. And you should compare that the present National Education Policy 2020. There is a lot of changes. So according to this policy, you have to implications. See, the policies are always good, but the implication is important. How we implement it. And the third is very important area, that is according to the regional needs. What are the regional needs are required? According to the regional needs, you should implement the program. You should implement the policy. You should implement the various schemes and take the outcomes. So this is about the teaching and learning theme. Let's go to the next theme, that is the constitutional rights. Now, under the main theme, constitutional rights, I mentioned three parts, our constitutional rights. First one is the constitutional safeguards. Next one is the human rights. And third one is the fundamental rights. Now, under the constitutional safeguards, there are the various articles. So Article 13, Article 14, Article 15, Article 29, so Article 243. So there are the various articles in our Constitution. So can we study? We know what are the articles related to our rights. Can we aware about these articles? So you should do the study on the awareness and the various articles about the constitutional safeguards. When you study this, so definitely you will get the solution. And every child should know the Constitution of India. Now the second part is human rights is very, very important. So under the human rights, what are the child rights? What are the women rights? What are the civil rights? So for this, what is the human right education? So you should study on these topics: human right education, child rights, women rights, social rights. And you should develop the various models of the human right education. How that models is very useful to your research work. So that is your research topic is very, very important and very good topic about the human rights. And then fundamental rights. What are the duties, responsibilities of each and every citizen? What is the development of society? How you have to develop your society? So what are the programs you want to make it for the development of the society? And this how you have to make the programs. So fundamental rights help you to development of that program. And you have to create the various modules, various models, and implement that model. That is the very good research topic for your study. Now let's come to the third topic, that is the disaster management. Now disaster management, I have categorized three sub-themes. It is the flood hazards model, training and mentoring the next generation, and flood mitigation framework. Now, in this pandemic or in this year 2020, we have get lot of disaster programs. Somewhere floods are there, somewhere tsunami are there. So for that, how we prepare, how we can prepare our students, our citizens, our teacher for that hazards. How we can save ourselves. What are the safeguards for that floods, for that tsunami? We should develop various models. We should provide the training models. Give the training through that model. Our safety is very, very important. And when we provide the awareness about the safety, awareness about the programs. So which program? So what kind of the things when you do it, so that time you have to save it. So that is very, very important. That's why the flood mitigation framework is very, very important. Take the various examples. In India, there is a lot of examples, and through that example, you have to go through that example and you can create your own model and implement it, that model. So definitely it will be help for the sake of safety of yourself, safety of your society, and as well as the safety of your nation. So we can definitely cope up with that program, flood or any kind of the disaster. So this is the topic for the disaster management. Then gender and school. Now, in the gender and school, I have mentioned 3 parts. That is, first, the gender discrimination in various activities. Now, in the 21st century, we can discuss about the women rights, equality, but when you study and when you go the detail, so you can think on that is not the right to the women to education. She is not having any right to raise the voice, to ask the question. In the various states, the women positions are very good in the cities.
मॅम आवाज येत नाही. हॅलो हॅलो मॅडम. हॅलो हॅलो.
Education to the girls. This is Seema.
हा मॅडम.
Now, the second one is the gender inequality in work organization. You can check or you can see, you can observe in the work organization, all the powers are in the hand of men. You can check the vice chancellors, the authority positions, always goes to the main category, not to the women category. The percentage is very, very low. And I think that is the 0.1 or 0.2% is there. But at the higher positions, the men are preferred at the higher positions. The selection committee don't want to select the women for that positions. And the last important part is the role of men and women in the politics. Our Sustainable Millennium Development Goal is the gender equality. Can we have the gender equality? Few percent. We have definitely few percent. We cannot say that there is a no change. There is a stain, but the progress of that change is very, very low. Now, the next theme is inclusive education. In the inclusive education, there are the 3 main categories: inclusive classroom strategy, inclusive practices, and the technology-based education. Inclusive classroom strategies. There are some of the different kinds of the strategies. When your class is inclusive, inclusive means you have to include all the kind of the students. Those who are Divyang also, those who are some part is missing also. So you can involve all the students. And according to them, you have to finalize the classroom strategies. So which practices as required for the inclusive education? So study that practices. Think on that practices. Then technology-based education, it is one of the important assistive technology. So assistive technology is the very important for the inclusive education. So that kind of the technology you have to implement. In the assistive type of technology, there are a lot of technology and small technologies required. So what are that type of the technology? You have to study on that and do the research on that technology. How to use that technology? What is the impact of that technology? How effective that technology? So you can take this kind of the topic for the inclusive education. Then last but not the least, the governance. That is a very, very important role of our governance. Now in the governance, there are the 4 main areas. So what are that main areas? Planning, evaluation, finance, accountability. So these are the 4 areas about the governance. Let's take one by one question about the governance, because this is the very important topic and a very effective topic. So in the planning. Now in the planning, which kind of the program you have to plan? Means you have to study the planning deals these standards and the policies that ensure the achievement of the whatever the department is there, department. So under the planning, my one of the question is, now in every state have a education department, and in that education department, so how can that education department determine effective standards for critical education resources for schools, community learning centers, and the other delivery units? Means here, the topics related to this, what are the programs through the education department are planned for the children education, for the community work, for the community engagement. And when they plan this program, they chalk out the plan. So automatically, through that planning, they improve the strategies. And when they plan, the important factor is the finance. Important factor is the finance. And without finance, you can plan anything and implement anything. So finance highlights the need to closely examine the effects and the financial management of the program. Now in the finance, when you have to plan, so what is the budget is required? So what kind of budgeting is required? You have to study on this. For example, this pandemic situation, how to provide the education through online education, how you can connect your students. So we can choose the Zoom app, various apps. We can choose TV, we can choose radio. But what is the funds of that program? How you can utilize that funds? So that is the main thing. So you have to definitely study on the finance part of the governance also. And the very, very important part is the accountability or program management and the accountability. So program management and the accountability, the program manager focuses on how the department can best develop, implement, and monitor the program, the projects, the various activities in that program. So what is the accountability of that program? The programmer is the teacher, The programmer is the management nominee, the programmer is the government nominee, whatever, who is there. So they are accountable. So what is the accountability of that teacher? What is the accountability of that program manager? What is the accountability of the government? What is the accountability of the officers, those who are related to that program? So you have to study this part also. And last but not the least, that is the evaluation part. When you plan one of the program, you have to study the finance, you have to study the accountability, then evaluation. How the program is effective. What are the causes of that effectiveness? How that program is effective? What are the causes? Which are the aspects related for the effectiveness of that program? So these are the very, very important topic for your research work. So thank you very much, Seema, for inviting me. Just one of the last, the human resource. I think I just few minutes we didn't complete this topic because it's taking a lot of time. The one is the teaching and non-teaching qualification. Another one is the career development. And the just 1 minute. And third one is the employee welfare. So under the human resource development, these are the few topics, those which are you have to take the study under these topics. Why I am taking the teaching and non-teaching qualification? You know, the teaching and non-teaching staff have the qualification, but that qualification is enough? No. For this pandemic situation, we don't know how to handle the technology. We don't know how to use that technology. So this kind of the skill is required. Means when the normal qualification, you have it. We have the normal qualification, but some qualification is required in the need of the situation. So that qualification you will definitely take. So what kind of that qualification? So you have to study which kind of the qualification is required in this pandemic situation. So you have to study on that part. Then career development. How you have to make your career path. Now I am a university teacher. Now enough. Don't say enough. In each and every step, you have to study the new. You want to study the new skill. So which skills are required for your institutions development, for your career development? So you have to study on that part also. And the employee welfare. In employee welfare, there are a lot of aspects. You have to study the employee welfare. That is, the salary is one of the part, time frame is one of the part, satisfaction is one of the part, devotion is one of the part, transparency is one of the part. So you have to study this aspect for the employee welfare. So these are the new topics in the new normal for your research work. Hope all of you understood these topics of the research. So thank you very much, Seema, for inviting me as a resource person for this seminar. Thank you.
It was indeed an informative session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for making us aware about recent research trends in new normal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All good things come to an end. The session went exceptional. Hence, I hereby call upon Dr. Pritesh Vadhe sir, Professor and IQAC Coordinator, Shri Bapu Saheb D.D. Vispute College of Education, to express our gratitude for the ones who made the session informative and interesting. I hereby request Dr. Pritesh Vadhe sir to express vote of thanks.
Very good afternoon to one and all joined in this 2 days online seminar organized by Adarsh Shikshan Prasarak Mandal Shri Bapu Sahib D.D. Bispute, College of Education, New Panvel, Maharashtra. Myself, Dr. Pritesh Wade, Assistant Professor, Shri Bapu Sahib D.D. Bispute, College of Education, take this opportunity to convey the vote of thanks on this first day of two-day online seminar organized with assistance by National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Bangalore, India on 5th and 6th December 2020 through the online platform. At the first, I express my sincere thanks to Honorable Professor S.C. Sharma, Director NAAC, and Professor Ganesh Hegde, Advisor NAAC, for the opportunity they have given to organize this online national seminar. I also express my gratitude on behalf of Adarsh Group of Institutes to Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Suhas Pednekar at this occasion for the support and inspiration. It has said that no work can be done without the motivation and encouragement. And this is true for us also. I would express my sincere thanks to Honorable Dhanraj Bispute, Chairman Adarsh Group of Institute, and Secretary Mrs. Sangeeta Bispute Madam for their continuous support in organizing each and every activity and positive thoughts which they always share with us to boost our confidence and enthusiasm in every situation. On this first day of two-day online national seminar, Honorable Professor Rajneesh Shukla, Vice Chancellor, Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Hindi Vishwavidyalaya, Varda, Maharashtra, was here with us as a chief guest who had delivered a keynote address for this online national seminar. It was really a great moment to hear Sir and to have an interaction with him. On behalf of Adarsh Group of Institute and Bapu Sahib D.D. Bispute College of Education, I heartily thank you, sir, for your presence in spite of your busy schedule. You were here and share your valuable thoughts with us. Thank you very much, sir. In the first session on online assessment and accreditation methodology in revised accreditation framework, Honorable Dr. Vinayak Deshpande, Professor, Department of Business Management, and ex-acting Vice Chancellor, Rashtra Sant Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University, Nagpur, had guided us on current accreditation and assessment process and quality indicators on the whole process under the NAAC. I express my sincere thanks on behalf of organizers to Honorable Professor Vinayak Deshpande sir for the excellent session and guidance. In the second session of the first day of this two-day online national seminar, which was taken by Honorable Professor Sumita Magre Madam, Director, Thane Subcampus, University of Mumbai. Honorable Professor Sunita Magre Madam had focused on recent trends in research and quality concern to research. It was a very wonderful session and so many important areas were discussed by Madam, where quality stands first and how role of researcher is important in quality research. Madam, I heartily thank you for the much needed session you have taken for all of us on this occasion. In the morning, Honorable Dr. Seema Kamble, Principal Shri Bapu Sahib D.D. Bispute College of Education, had delivered a welcome address and had introduced about the two-day online national seminar. I express my sincere thanks to her on this occasion. Honorable Shri Dhanraj Bispute, Chairman Adarsh Group of Institute, through his inaugural speech, had expressed valuable thought on need of quality education and research and what responsibilities are there on educational institutions to achieve the goal of quality education. Sir had also highlighted on the quality aspects given in National Policy of Education 2020. Sir, I express my heartfelt thanks to you for your valuable thoughts which you have shared with us through this online platform. I express my special thanks to Honorable Dr. Avinash Ji Shinde sir for his kind support and guidance. I feel very glad to share that we have got more than 1400 registrations throughout the country and across the globe for this online national seminar, and thousands of participants are joined in this seminar through the Facebook Live. We have also received more than 65 research articles from the different parts of the country and Maharashtra state through this online seminar for publication. I thank all the participants, research scholars, and academicians who have shown interest in the online seminar and wish that you all will remain with us up to the end of the online seminar for today to make this seminar successful. Last but not least, I would like to thank faculty members, non-teaching staff, technical staff, and students who have taken efforts to make successful this first day of online seminar. It is not possible to go ahead without your cooperation and support. Finally, I declare that with prior information of dignitaries that the first day of this online seminar is over, I request all participants to join us online tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the second day of this online national seminar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Pritesh Wadesa, for delivering the vote of thanks. Thanks are the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder. Thanks once again, dear delegates, for lending this platform the credibility that you have given by your gracious presence. This brings end to the first day of the webinar. We shall continue with the second day tomorrow, 6th December, with these important sessions on emerging trends in research quality, which will be conducted by Honorable Dr. Chetna Sonkamble ma'am, an academic audit of higher education institute session, which will be guided by Honorable Dr. Avinash Shendra sir, followed by the valedictory program by our Honorable Professor Mohammad Siddiqui sir. Looking forward for your participation. Kindly log in with the Zoom link that will be provided, or you may also connect live on Facebook sharp at 11 a.m. With the due permission of our principal madam, I declare the end of the webinar. Thank you one and all, and have a pleasant day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And thanks to all.